Hello everyone! The puppies are now 4 weeks old. They are awake, alert, and ready to take on the world. At this age, the puppies are getting 3 meals a day, plus a couple of feedings of milk from their mom, once between breakfast and lunch, and once between lunch and dinner. They now spend the night without their mother, and don't get any food between dinner and breakfast. The puppies are now being weaned off of their mother's milk. How this works is that when they get milk, I no longer let them drink their fill, which would drain the mom's teats. Draining the teats sends a signal to the mom's body that there is not enough milk, and this will result in more milk being produced. Instead, I let the puppies drink just enough to relieve the mom, so she doesn't accumulate too much milk, but not enough to drain her. Being left with milk in the teats sends the signal to her body that there is an excess of milk production, and her body will produce less milk over time. Over the next few weeks, we will slowly taper down her milk production in this way until it is safe to cut the puppies off completely. As you can see, the process of weaning is just as much about the mom as it is about the puppies. The puppies have now learned to associate my presence with their meals, and they eagerly demand to be let out of the box whenever I come into the room. This is the perfect opportunity to start impulse control training. I will not pick up a puppy as long as he or she is up against the side of the box, crying for attention. Ideally, I want the puppy to sit, and I prioritize the ones who do sit, meaning I pick them up first. Though if a puppy is being particularly tenacious and not sitting, I will pick him up when he drops down from the wall, even if he doesn't sit. As with potty training, it will take many repetitions for the puppies to associate the act of sitting with being let out or being fed, or with any other reward. I do this every time I go into the room to feed the puppies, be it milk or kibble. That's 5 times a day. What this means is that by the time the puppies leave for their new homes, they will have been exposed to this requirement a minimum of 140 times. They are bound to learn something in that time. After eating, the puppies get to play with each other and run around the room. I keep a close eye on them so they don't potty on the carpet. They do have access to a small litter box, also full of wood shavings, outside of the whelping box, but they are still very young and accidents happen. If I see one start doing its business where it shouldn't, I pick it up and place it in the shavings. If this was any other time of year, we'd already be feeding and potty training outside. But it is winter time, and the puppies are not quite old or strong enough for that yet, so this will do for now. I continue the impulse control training outside of the whelping box by teaching the puppies boundaries. There are certain things that the puppies are not allowed to do, and they will be reprimanded for doing so. This includes showing too much interest in the wires, biting furniture, or playing too rough with each other. When they do any of these things, I will push them away or sometimes pick them up and move them and say in a stern voice, "No." It looks and sounds something like this. No. Get. Good boy. The other side of discipline is praise. It is just as important to praise as it is to reprimand, so the puppies learn through the use of contrast. To do this, I make myself available to the puppies. I sit on the floor and praise them when they approach me, come up on my lap, or sit near me. In this manner, they will come to understand that the reprimands are not emotional whims, but deliberate rules that are consistently reinforced, and that there are other actions they can choose that will be consistently rewarded. As I mentioned in my last video, the puppies are still young and more likely than not don't understand these concepts. But they don't need to understand them to still react and subconsciously learn from them. The understanding will come later as they age. Having these impulses and boundaries embedded in their actions this young will set a solid foundation for their new owners to continue their training when the time comes. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.